Preview. 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 Preview.
Good evening. It is with great pleasure that we welcome in this platform Dr. Jacon Haviv. Welcome to our platform, Dr. Haviv. And Zeji is going to read your curriculum.
So welcome, thank you for joining us. And I'm going to read your curriculum in Spanish, if you allow me. Antes que nada, agradecerles a todos que se conectaron, que están con nosotros aquí, para una plática muy interesante con una persona muy importante, que aunque tengo entendido directamente, o sea, no es miembro de nuestra comunidad que haya crecido aquí, es una persona que con lo que hace en Israel, pues nos une a la comunidad en Israel muy importante. Entonces, el doctor Haviv es CEO, director general del Centro Médico Herzog y el Hospital Herzog en Israel. Y déjenme decirles, el doctor es un médico especializado en salud pública, medicina ocupacional y gestión médica. Él se desempeñó como oficial médico del IDF para varias unidades de operaciones especiales de elite y de campo, y ocupó varios puestos en el Centro Médico Kaplan y el Ministerio de Salud. El doctor Haviv también es experto en la gestión de la crisis del COVID-19 en la población anciana y en la comunidad árabe de Jerusalén del Este. Para que se den idea un poquito, el Hospital Herzog es el principal centro de atención geriátrica, respiratoria, de salud mental y psicotrauma de Israel, y dan atención, tratamiento e investigación. Y bueno, pues este hospital tiene la experiencia única en el tratamiento de enfermedades de Alzheimer, Parkinson, enfermedades crónicas infantiles. Y bueno, pues tenemos el gusto, and we're very happy to welcome Mr. Jacon Haviv to this this webinar. And well, first of all, thank you for giving us the honor of your presence.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about you before we go into your professional career. For those of you who don't know you very much, who are you, Mr. Jacob?
It's a good question. Well, I'm married to Yael. She came from a kibbutz in Israel. I was born in Bat Yam. This is a city a little bit south to Tel Aviv, and we live now in a kibbutz, in a village not far from Gaza, about 20 minutes driving from Gaza. I have 4 boys, only boys. The oldest is 28, and then I have 26, 28, 24, and 18. All of them, by the way, were in this war in Gaza. Wait, we have some technical things.
No problem. Don't worry.
Take your time.
Just take your time, get comfortable, and it's okay.
No, okay, now it's much better, because I was sitting in the car when we started, and now in the 7th floor when we finished. So, okay, when I was 18 in Israel, I don't know if you're familiar with this, all boys and girls need to go to the military life. It's by law. But if you study something important for the military life, like medicine, you can study before and then go to the military life. So when I was 18, I went to school in Tel Aviv. I became, age of 25, I became a physician. And then for 26 years, I served in the Israel Defense Forces, starting from the paratroopers and other special commando units. And then all my service was in special units, field units, and things like this, commanding them. My last position was completely different. I was the Israeli military attaché in Moscow, and also represented the Ministry of Defense of Israel in Russia. So this was the last thing that I did. And then I came back to Israel and decided to become the head of the hospital. So this is very briefly.
Okay, let me go a little bit back, because we have time and we really want to know you. Tell me a little bit about your childhood, and what made you go through, to the decision of becoming a doctor and do all these different things for the state of Israel. Where is your family from originally? What is your background, and a little bit about your childhood in Bat Yam? I understand, no? You say you grew up in Bat Yam, correct?
Yes, that's right. Well, both of my parents came from Iraq. My mother came from a very rich family in Iraq, from Baghdad, and my father from a very poor family from Baghdad. And on the 50s, they let the Jews to go out of Iraq. So they arrived with nothing, really nothing. They were very young and poor. And I remember, even though we didn't have money when I was born, I still remember it's very, very pleasant life, very happy life. And especially my mother always encouraged me to study medicine. So I have some. This is Jewish mother, you know. This is something that in the woman's Jewish woman's DNA to push their kids to become doctors. So she all the time pushed me for every time for different reason why to be a doctor, and besides, before I went to the army at the age of 18, the one who signed me to learn medicine is my mother, not me. So so I'm here because of my mother.
Good. I would like
Rebecca?
yes, I would like to ask you, what about your marriage? When did you get married? And if you can tell us a little bit about your wife and your kids, please.
Of course. This is maybe the best thing that I like to speak about, my family. This is probably the most important for me in my life, especially now when I did so many things. So now I understand everything I did, it's okay, but the most important thing is the family. And I have a wonderful wife named Yael. She was born in a kibbutz, like I told you, in Givat Brenner. This is the center of Israel. She has a very special story because she was afraid to study. When she was very young, she told me there was a question in math in her school, and the teachers asked something like, how much is 2 + 2? And she said 4. And the teacher asked her, are you sure? She said 5. And then everybody laughed on her. And since then, she was really traumatized, and she decided not to study anything. And after she met me, and we got married, and all my friends, of course, they are physicians, they are doctors, and all the wives are also doctors and well educated. And she was the only one all the years that she's not educated, well educated, at least in university. And always she felt that she's like not as good as the others, even though I thought all the time she's much better than all the others. And but it was something that I couldn't fight with it all the time. And suddenly, I don't know, only when she was 40, today she's 52, only when she was 40, she decided to study about geriatric, elderly people, to help them emotionally. And suddenly she became like a guru in Israel. She's everywhere, in television, in radio. She has a huge clinic. She does everything mainly for volunteering. And the reason I'm in this hospital that his name is Herzog, that is part of it is a very important, the biggest geriatric hospital in Israel, is because of my wife. Why? Because never before I could think that I'm going to manage or operate a hospital that's geriatric. This is not a sexy item in Israel. It's much better to have something like oncology, operation rooms, ER, things like this. Like I came from a military life, and I said no, thank you. I don't want to be the CEO of this hospital, Herzog. And I remember that I came home and told my wife that I don't want to be the CEO of this hospital, and she was really angry about me. She told me, what kind of a doctor are you if you don't want to help these elderly people? And she made me a very bad time. So at the end, I'm running this hospital and I'm very happy. And this is because of my wife. She's amazing. And I have 4 boys. 2 of them study medicine in Jerusalem. One study to become a lawyer to protect them, of course. And the last one is still in the army, and he is in computer science and cyber science. So this is my family, but everything is just what I told you is just informative. They are really amazing, they are beautiful, and we are a very warm family.
Like
Pepe.
sons.
Oh, perdón, I'm sorry.
Hola, ¿cómo están? Nice to see you, everybody. I'm here. We had a big trouble in the border. That's why we came late. But my friend Jacob is fantastic. Tell us, Jacob, where were you in the day that the Hamas attacked us? Where were you? What was you doing?
Oh, probably the 7th of October is the horrible and worst day in my life, I can tell you. It was a holiday in Israel, Shabbat, Saturday, and my wife at 6:30, she wake me up. She said, "Do you hear all the bombs?" And as I told you, we live about 20 kilometers from the border, and it was very strange that wake up with, and also the sirens started to be. And in the beginning, I said, "Okay, it's strange, but still, it's going to be 5 minutes, not more." And then after about, you see, again and again, more incidents, we opened the television and we saw terrorists with cars and trucks inside Israel. I couldn't believe. It was a shock for me. It's really huge trauma. You can't believe. It's like, just think about yourself. Suddenly, I don't know, who come to San Diego or invaded the other, to your house. You can't even imagine about it. And a big story that happened to us in that day is the brother of my wife. He lives in a kibbutz, beautiful kibbutz, just on the border with the Gaza envelope. The name is Kisufim. The name of the kibbutz is Kisufim. It was a beautiful kibbutz, and since 7 o'clock in the morning, he was texting us. We tried to speak with him, because we knew that the terrorists is invading some of the villages, and he couldn't speak because he was afraid that the terrorists will hear him. So he only texted us. And he told us in the beginning that there are terrorists inside the kibbutz, so we couldn't believe. And then later, he told us that they killing people because they have a inside the network that could speak between themselves. In the kibbutz, they told us that they are killing people, or they are burning houses and some other things. And about few hours later, and about, let's say, about 11 o'clock, he told us, listen, they are invading the house of our neighbors. And we are the next one. And everybody was, of course, very afraid. And then he texts us that they hit a bomb in the neighbor's house. And then later we understood that there was a fight in the safe room. There is a door in the safe room. So when the terrorists couldn't open this door, they shoot a RPG bomb missile toward the room, and they killed all the family inside this room. And then they moved toward the family of my brother-in-law. And he was there with his wife and 2 daughters, young daughters. The other daughters were not at home when it started. And he texted us that now they are the next. And so they decided to lay down on their belly, on the floor, with the face toward the floor and the hands like this. And later asked him, why did you do this? Why didn't you fight with the door? So he told me that he said there were no chance to fight with the door. So maybe the terrorists will see them, all of them like this. They have some mercy on them, they will not kill them. Or if they decide to kill them, he told me I couldn't look when they killing my family. So for me, it was better to close my eyes, look toward the floor, and do nothing. So in the end, the terrorists came to his house, and they started to shoot some materials in the house, like the television. They opened the refrigerator, they eat some food, and they left. And they left the house, doing nothing to them. And then they moved to the next neighbors, and the next neighbors, they killed 2, or I think 2 of the neighbors, and they kidnapped one of them. And the question was later why they did nothing to our family, to my brother-in-law. And probably it was a big miracle for them, big mess, because they had probably just, we can just guess, because they have 2 safe rooms, because they have a big family. So in the kibbutz, what they are doing is they're taking 2 houses and they're making like a 1 house. So they had 2 safe rooms, and when everything started, they moved to one safe room. So probably the terrorists came inside, they saw the other safe room empty. So maybe they thought, okay, the family ran away from this house, we have nothing to do, just to eat something, to shoot the television, and they went out. So this was a horrible story that we passed in the 7th of October. We have when it started, we have no connection after they laid down on the belly until the next morning, because all the Wi-Fi collapsed, and there was no way that we could speak with them. My wife was sure they are okay. She was sure all the time, telling me, I don't worry, they are okay. I was sure they've been killed or been kidnapped, and I didn't want to say nothing else to my wife. And only the next morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, the Israeli Defense Forces succeeded to reach their house and save them. So this is about what happened to me at this horrified day. And besides, of course, I went to my hospital, and I opened all the emergency room and the basement and the shelter to be ready for all the bad things that happened.
Zeji.
Yeah. How, when all that happened, you say you went to the hospital, how ready were you for this, or how was the response, medical-wise, for all the things that were going to happen, or there were not so many people coming to your hospital? How was that from your point of view of a medic?
Well, we did a lot. We did a lot at the first day, the second day, and until today we are doing a lot. All the time we are thinking what else we can do in order to be ready. So first of all, we are ready. All of the time we are ready. In our hospital, we have a huge shelter that we can have 240 patients under ventilators. So it's really huge. It's huge. It's a big facility, and it's always ready. So when I went to the hospital the first day, the 7th of October, I just opened the shelter, and I saw that everything is okay. The medical gases, the beds, everything is ready for evacuating the patients toward the shelter. And then the next thing that happened to me, that 2 of my colleagues, other CEO of hospitals, one from Beersheba in Soroka and one from Jerusalem, they called me urgently, because we have a huge departments for chronic respiratory patients. We have 250 patients under respiratory machines. We are the biggest in Israel and probably in the world for this, and we are very good for this. And they really begged me. I remember them. They shouting. They told me that the operation room is full of injured people that needs ICU beds. But the ICU beds are all occupied. So they needed me to evacuate, to take their patient from their ICU beds and to bring them to my hospital and to open a new department for this. So this is what we did in the first 2 days, and we opened about 35 beds for them. It's big numbers, it's huge numbers, and you need to understand that is what we deal is we have much more patients with less staff, because many of my staff were on duty in this day. Many went to the IDF and been on call. Others, young ladies with small babies, because we closed all the schools and kindergartens, couldn't come to work because maybe their husband is on call. So they didn't have nothing to do with the kids, especially in time that there are missiles toward our cities. So the challenge was how to treat more patients with less staff. And what I did is I collect all my staff and told them, listen, this is a time that all of us, each one of us, can think what we can do more. So I ask you to do more in your time for our patients, and to do more time, to give more time. If you can do 10 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours, don't go home. Just continue to work until our patient will get the best medicine. And this is what happened. Each one of my staff really worked much more and much harder in order to succeed. And the next day, there was another challenge. Because the 8th of October, on Sunday, we succeeded to evacuate the survivors from the kibbutz and the villages from the envelope of Gaza. We moved them toward hotels in Jerusalem, hotels in the Dead Sea. So each hotel become one kibbutz or one village. And those people who've been survived from the terrifying thing that happened to them a day before, needed mental health support. They needed psychologists, they needed social workers to start to speak with them, to help them, because part of the families were not, some of them been killed, some of them been kidnapped, and the survivors really needs a lot of support. And I got call in the morning, on Sunday morning, the 8th of October, and they asked me to take responsibility of 4 hotels, 1 in the Dead Sea and 3 in Jerusalem, and supported the personnel, the survivors. So I collect again my people and asked them, told them this is a holy mission. I don't care. This is a holy mission, and we are going to do it. And we sent staff toward the Dead Sea and the hotels in Jerusalem. And this is how we started the war. And I can tell you, even today, we have so many challenges that we are still struggling and doing. And we are, without the staff, nothing can be success. It's only because of my staff.
Yaakov, many of the people that work for you are Muslims. 1/3 of your people that works in your hospital are Muslims. How did you cope with that? How you explain them what to do? What happened with them?
Well, this is a very important, it's an important question. And yes, about 1/3 of my staff is Muslims, because we have Jews, Orthodox, we are not religion, we have Christians, and we have Muslims. And also my patients are like this. This is Israel, this is Jerusalem people. And the first day there was a problem, because, you know, each one of them has his own political opinion and what he think about what happened in Gaza. Some of them were very happy, of course, and some of them keep their thoughts to themselves. And some didn't even arrive to the hospital the first day because they didn't want, or because they have a problem to go out of the village, the Muslim village, toward my hospital. So what I did, I collect all of them, all the Muslims staff, and I spoke with them. And I told them, listen, we should be, and this is what I said, we are an island of sanity. Outside, whatever you want. Each one is an individual, he can think and speak whatever he wants. But inside the hospital, we are all united. There is no politics inside the hospital, and we have only one aim. And this is not by law. This is a moral issue. It's a moral issue. We swear to treat each one of our patients. So I don't want to hear that someone don't like to come and treat patients. So all of them, really, 100% of my staff said, okay, we are with you. And also Muslims treat Jews, and Jews treating Muslims in my hospital. And it's working until today quite well. Another thing that happened, that some of them told me, listen, we can't go out of the village and we can't come back. It's a problem. There is a lot of checkpoints and things like this. So we can't really do this. So what I did, I took a department and I converted to like a small hotel for men and female with beds and in a full board. And for about 1 month, many of the Muslims lived inside the hospital so they can, in order they can continue to treat the patients.
Rebe?
Well, you told us about your 4 sons. Tell me a little bit about the day they were called to the army, about your feelings, your wife's feelings. It must have been very hard. Could you please share that with us?
Well, this is very tough, I must say. It's very personal and very tough. Yeah, I was worried about them, of course, and they were been called, all of them been called in the first day, the 7th of October in Shabbat. But I think that the most influenced me is not, I was afraid something happened to them. I saw that my youngest boy, he's 20, he was afraid. He was really afraid. This is normal, of course, but he was afraid because they asked him in the army, they asked him to go because he's dealing with computers and in cyber attack, to go to a place just on the border. And he was afraid. And he was afraid even to go out because of the missiles, not go to the border, just go out of the house. And I told him, listen, I'm your father. I will take you wherever you need. You never go by train or by bus or by whatever. I will take you. I will take you hand by hand, wherever. So at the beginning, it was okay. He was very much afraid. I'm sure he was traumatized. And he was even embarrassed, but he said, thank you, take me. So this is what we did about 2 weeks or 3 weeks at the beginning. Everywhere he went, I took him by myself. And this was very hard, because I saw he's been changed. He's 20, of course, it's big, but this is my young boy, very fragile, and he was broken. And this was really very hard for me, even now. I'm almost crying now, really. But now he's much better. He's much better. He's not afraid anymore. But I'm sure, this time did something to him, and not something good.
Rebe?
I
Okay.
have a question.
Sí.
I have something to say. Okay. And this is more about you feeling about, you being in so many different places, in the army, in the hospital, in government, in other countries and all that. And how is the feeling right now in Israel, being this war is taking so much time, and we don't see, or it doesn't seem that it's like an end in sight. Outside the country, there's a lot of political pressure, social pressure against Israel. And in Israel, a war that long is not very usual, no? So how do you guys, or how the country is coping with that? That's my first question. And the second one, what is the biggest challenge medical-wise that you have in Israel at the moment? Those are the 2 questions I have.
So the second one is easy. It's quite clear. The mental health problem and challenge, this is our main challenge today. If you want later, I can speak about it, what we are doing. We have so many programs. It's going to be very difficult. Even if we have beautiful programs, it's going to be very tough. We moved from the acute phase of the wounded person Then we moved after 2 weeks to the how we rehabilitate all of the wounded personnel. Now it's the mental health. Now it's mental health. So this is the first question or second question. The first is about what we think. Well, it's not. We have a lot of debate in Israel. What should be now? But you hear that some of us saying, okay, enough is enough. We need to stop and make the negotiation about the kidnapped people. We have still 125 persons that are still in Gaza. And some say, no, only if you fight much harder. And we put a lot of pressure on the Hamas. This is the only way to bring them home. So the only thing that we agree, all of us agree, that we can't give up on those people who've been kidnapped. This is the only thing that we agree. We don't agree about anything else, but about this we agree. And we understand that we can't stop until all of them are at home. We can't stop. So some say, like I said at the beginning, if we can, okay, most of the military aims, we got it. The army fights quite well. Of course, it's very difficult to fight against a terrorist group, organization that fight from the civilian of Palestinian civilians, from the mosques and from UNRWA, UN facilities, and from schools and things like this. And so we can stop and make the negotiation until we bring them home. And I'll say, no, never. It will never be like this, because this organization is a terrorist organization. They will keep them for eternity. And so only if we continue to fight and fight and fight, slowly, we can bring them home. So we don't have the correct answer. At least I don't have the correct answer, the right answer. I think it should be something in the middle, you fight and stop, and try to make some negotiation. But the most important thing is to bring them home.
Rebeca.
I agree with you. No, did you want to say something else? Or can I?
I want to say that some of them, at least 2/3 of them, we understand they are still alive. And some of them are young girls. And we understand they've been abused, sexual abuse there. And also the young boys also suffer so much. So we have no other alternative just to bring them home.
I can imagine there are a lot of different programs to help them as soon as they come back to safety. Is your wife involved in any of those programs?
Yes, she's involved in one program for the Home from Command. She's volunteering there, and there is a special program for the elderly people, and she's broadcasting many things for the elderly people, how to behave in time of like there is a siren and rockets, or somebody died in your family, things like this. So she had podcast and broadcasting by the Ministry of Defense and Home from Command. So everyone's trying to do his best to do something for the benefit of all.
And how do you feel the moral of the people of Israel right now?
Not good.
Not good.
Absolutely not good. Inside. Outside, if you come to Israel, completely like you remember Israel. Everything is normal. All the restaurants are full. People go to the beach, have fun. We're doing everything. If you go to football game, it's full of people. So it's like, if you look at us from outside, completely normal country, like before the war. Some people say it's not okay. Some people say it's very okay. So some people say it can't be like this if after the 7th of October we still have hostages. Why we become so quickly normal country? And some say, no, this is the way to win. This is the way to win against terrorism. That we are a very resilient country. We are very resilient people, and we continue to live. But inside, this was your question. Inside, it's not good. We feel it's quite very sad. Every day you get in the morning and you get published another soldier that died or something bad, other bad things happen. It's very, and we understand it will take at least half a year, another half a year, at least, maybe even 1 year, 2 years, we don't know. And also it's very bad because we believe that something good is going to be with the Palestinian. We shared, jobs and money and education, and many Palestinians came to my hospital to become educated as physicians, or some patients came to get treatment in my hospital. So we really believed that something good is going to be. And after the 7th of October, everything, the collapse. And we don't know what is going to be. Okay, there is a war, there is the hostages. Okay, what next? What is next? Are we continue to fight and fight for eternity? I just told the other people that story about my father. After the 6-day war, I was very young. I think I was about 5, 6 years old. No, 6. And he came back with his rifle, and I wanted to play with the rifle. I was 6 years old. And he told me, he didn't agree. He told me, listen, I really pray that when you will be grown up, you don't need to go to the army. There will not be any war. And you see what happened today after I've been grown up, and all my kids been in the army. And now I'm praying that my grandkids do not need to be anymore in the army, but I'm not sure it will be like this.
Everybody hates Hamas, but why Netanyahu has become the second? Everybody complains about everything that Netanyahu does. What do you think about Netanyahu?
I think Netanyahu, it's my personal idea. It's only me, yeah? So I think Netanyahu used to be a wonderful prime minister. Wonderful, amazing, very strong, very passionate, and very helpful for Israel. But he's been a prime minister too much. And enough is enough. And somehow he lost his way. And I think today is not doing everything in the priority of Israel. He's doing more for staying as the prime minister instead of pushing Israel as the biggest priority for him. But again, this is my personal idea. I think he should go. And I think also after the 7th of October, and it doesn't matter if it's, you can blame the intelligence, the IDF, the chief of staff, everyone. But he was the prime minister, and he was the prime minister for so many years. And he is the head of all, whatever is being in Israel. I understand what is to be responsible, to be the number one. And there is a lot on his shoulder. But still, this day, you can't eliminate what happened. And he needs to go, and we need to take what happened and go again. We can make again Israel a fantastic country. We have the abilities. We have our people. I'm sure we're going to be a wonderful country again. I'm sure. I think we're still a wonderful country. But under war, when you are under a war, it can't be such a beautiful and wonderful. But quickly we'll overcome and continue to be a wonderful. But I think the leaders should change. We need a new leader, new leaders, a new prime minister, a new government, and even a new chief of staff in order to heal from what happened.
Zeji.
I have a question for you. I mean, you do a lot of things. You have a lot of worries, family, job, war. What do you do in your free time? What do you do to relax? To say, okay, take a break. What do you do as a hobby? Do you have any hobbies or what? To feel alive, and not that have all the stress.
I will answer you at the end, but first I must say, I think, and this is what I told also to my staff and my family, I think what I'm doing now is like a therapy for me. What I'm doing in my hospital is a therapy for me, for my soul. So when I walk, I feel much better. If I don't walk, I feel worse, much worse. And when I have free time, I decided a few months ago to volunteer again to the IDF. And so I'm now in the reserve. So once a week, I'm going there and volunteering in the headquarters of one of the division of Israel. And what I'm doing there is, of course, I just helping in time. There is injured soldiers. I take a control and helping them how to evacuate him in the best way to a hospital to get treated. So this is what I'm doing today, about 1 day a week. And but really in my free time, I go with my wife and my dog to the beach. We swim, we play ping pong, and this is the best. I also have a boat in the Sea of the Galilee, speedboat, to do ski, water ski. But unfortunately, since the war, I didn't go even once to this boat. This is something I really, really, really like to do. But for 8 months, I didn't do it.
Rebe.
This is kind of a political question, but in your point of view, what would you think would be the ideal situation the day after?
No, I think I spoke about it. I'm sure we will be much better. We learn from our mistake. There was a huge mistake. This was a catastrophe day, but in the end, we're going to build again all the places that now have been under fire and been destroyed. Will be a better country, I'm sure. And besides, we have no choice, like we established Israel. We had no choice, and we built a beautiful country, and now we are much bigger and stronger, and we are not starting from zero. We are starting from something very strong, and so the day after will be okay. The day after will be okay, I'm sure. And also, if you ask me what I'm worried more, I'm not worried about Israel. I worried mainly about the situation of the Jewish people all over the world, because somehow, and I'm traveling quite a lot, I see that the Jewish community become a target. Not Israel, it's something with Israel, because at the beginning it was anti-Israel. And all these blames that I don't understand them. How come we become the bad guys? We've been surprised. We've been killed. They killed our people. They burned them. They slaughtered, really. And we become the bad guys. So this is something very strange that we need to understand why it happened. And then they move from anti-Israel to anti-Jews or anti-Semitism very proudly, very everywhere in public. It used to be that it used to be allowed or legitimate to be anti-women, anti-black people, anti-lesbian and homosexuals. Now it's not allowed at all. But to be anti-Semitism, it's okay, it's legitimate. You can say it very loudly everywhere in universities, in schools, and streets, and to kill all the Jews and whatever. And this is make me more afraid from what is going to be. And it's even somehow it reminds me, I'm not too old, so old, but still I remind from the history what happened 90 years ago in Germany and Austria. But the big difference is one, a very huge difference. Today we have the state of Israel. We have the Israel Defense Forces. And this is a huge difference. But still, when I look at what's happening in the States and Europe, I'm worried about our situation, and especially the situation of the Jewish community in the world.
Jacob, Gislanu, we have some commentaries that we will read to you. I hope tenemos algunos comentarios que pueden comentar, que pueden leernos, por favor.
No sé en Facebook, aquí en Zoom, no, pero you are all invited if you want to ask something to the doctor, please feel free to ask, to open your microphone.
Y mientras tanto, quiero decirles a todos que he estado I have been all day with Jacob, and he's an amazing person. I have sí, Zeji.
No, nomás aquí me llegó algo de Carlos Salceda. Espero que lo haya dicho bien. Saludos, nos saluda a todos. Y Héctor García, excelente día también, manda un saludo. So it's like, they say hi to all of us and have an excellent day. So that's the two messages I just got over here. Sorry to interrupt.
¿No? Pues, estamos teniendo más o menos 350, 360 escuchas en cada evento y estamos muy contentos de eso.
Bien. Peggy Rosen wants to ask something to
well,
¿Sí?
What I don't have my picture on, but maybe that's it better. I want to ask you about something that you didn't mention. I think I didn't miss anything. What about Asbara, the clarifying to all the world who is so against Israel, who is so against Zionism, who is so against Jews now in the world? How could we explain to them, or is it there something that they are doing in Israel now that they are so busy with so many wars, with so many hostages, with so many big problems that they have? Do they still have time and mind to send Hasbara to the world?
Well, this is something that everyone in Israel, I think, not just in Israel, all Jews in the world are speaking about. And what happened to us with the Hasbara, with our PR, why we became the bad guys? How come we become the bad guys? How come those terrorists of the Hamas become freedom fighters? This is what the people told me. They are freedom fighters. Freedom fighters. They are freedom fighters. Or homo, lesbian, and queer organization fighting. They are pro-Hamas. How come? How come? So probably we are doing a very bad job with the Hasbara, with the PR. Probably. But I think also it's not just that we are bad with our PR. We should put a lot of energy and effort with Hasbara and PR and become better. It's very important. This is very, very important. But somehow it also makes us thinking about what happened. Because after we really been surprised and those terrorists came inside our houses, villages, and they kill our people, they rape a lot of our daughters, and they butcher people and burn people alive. They did all those atrocities, and then still we need the Hasbara. So something is not working here. Something is so maybe it's not just what we are doing or not doing. Maybe it's something more basic. And people speaking about underlying very big anti-Semitism that still exists. Because if you look about the Palestinian and other Muslims in the world, who care about the Muslim, the Palestinian? What happened that the Palestinian becomes so important for the world? Because the world didn't care about the Syrian, the world didn't care about the Lebanese, they don't care, still don't care about what happened in Yemen, don't care about what happened in most of the countries, even in Iran. Nobody care about what happened in other countries. And suddenly, only for the Palestinians, it's become very important. And maybe it's not because they are important. Maybe it's because this anti-Semitism underline is what make people speaking about the Palestinian so much or so good, so take care about them, and it's the main reason is just hating the Jews. I'm sure I'm not really correct. I'm sure what I said is just some thoughts we all have. But still, we're really surprised. Why a country by country, society by society, thinking that we are the bad guys and we are like doing murdering people, genocide. We're doing the genocide. How come we are doing the genocide? We are, I know everybody knows how exactly we're fighting. We're fighting with smart bombs, not statistic bombs, not big bombs. We are knocking on the door, on the roof before we are bombing a house. And still we are the ones who are making genocide. So, yes, we have a lot of things to do, but and we are going to do it. And I think also all the Jewish communities all over the world should deal with diaspora and PR, because it's also part of all of us. And in the end also we should remember that even if the world is against us, we still need to do what is good for us. Because if we won't do what is good for us, we have no land of Israel. I'm sorry.
Okay, we have finished our time. It has been very fast. It's been incredible. I'm astonished. So I'm going to ask my friends to say goodbye. Rebe, por favor.
It was a great pleasure, Dr. Haviv, and I just wish you the best of luck for you and your family. Stay safe, please. And it was great seeing you today. Thank you.
Zeji.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I wanted just to say thank you, not to me, thank you, because I think this is the only way. This is the only way to win and succeed, to be together. When we are together, I'm Israeli and you are from here, and still we are together and we are united. Only when we are together, united, all the Jewish people all over the world, this is the only formula to win and to exist. And so this is very important for me, and I'm very proud. I'm really very proud at what you are doing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Am Israel Chai.
Yes.
Zeji.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. It was very, very enriched. Very, it was great. And you gave us a lot of the insight that we can learn from you, and we know exactly what's going on in Israel. And very quick, how can we support what's going on in Israel? So going to Israel, visiting Israel, what do you say is the best way that the Jewish community can help Israel succeed in this challenge that we're facing? And thank you very much. Kol hakavod lecha.
Well, thank you very much. The answer is very simple. Whatever you can. It can be just speaking about Israel at your work. It can be explaining like the PR, what is Israel, why Israel is doing what she's doing everywhere. It can be coming to Israel to visit, and support our people. It can be even donation. They don't need to be big money. It can be whatever you can. So each one of us, because I'm saying us, we are together. Each one of us should do something that feels that it's good for his soul. And this is the way to do it.
Bueno, amigos, ha sido una jornada más. Ya llevamos 8 eventos similares. Ustedes pueden ver que queremos que conozcas a tu comunidad. Este doctor increíble, Jacob, es impresionante. Todo el día he estado con él y salí más que impresionado de su energía, de su cariño, de su personalidad. Nos vemos la próxima semana, no me falten, es jueves y estaremos listos para una aventura más en el mundo de Conoce a tu comunidad. Aquí estaremos como siempre y con un gran entusiasmo porque sentimos que cada vez nos escucha más gente, ustedes nos están recomendando, les agradecemos que le digan a sus primos, parientes, amigos, que aquí estamos al pie del cañón. Un abrazo a todos. Quiero agradecer a Claudia Basurto por el esfuerzo que ha hecho en esta reunión y también a mi amiga Gabriela Palazuelos, que es la que coordina que el programa funcione. Hazak Be'ematz Am Israel Jai.
Amén.
Amén.
Preview. Preview.